Hey guys, it's Average Gatsby, and welcome to another issue of Engineering the Asylum. This time I'm going to be fighting the Emir mech that I have previously hacked, and doing most of the blood pack section. But I had to cut it off just because it was a bit, it took me a bit longer than YouTube would allow for these two sections. So for this first part, my main strategy right here is to basically keep all these mercs, one, shooting the Emir mech as much as possible, and two, to keep them in range of Garrus's sniper fire. I want to point out that this mech is not, this mech can be reprogrammed and used to fight against you if you don't, if it doesn't die quickly enough. Whenever Jareth will eventually appear, if the mech is not dead, Jareth, I don't think he actually takes any sort of special action, but just at the moment of his appearance, the mech will suddenly turn back on you and turn on your allies. So I'm trying to make sure that the mech is going to die. I am using it a little bit to provide sort of a shooting gallery for me and my allies, but I'm definitely not doing it any favors by casting my combat drone on it and letting these Eclipse troopers take shots at it. After it's dead, I tend to still stay in this position. It's the same strategy as before. I'm just trying to keep the mercs as much as possible in range of Garrus's sniper fire, using Morden's cryos to give myself a damage boost there, and then finishing him off with my own incinerate. His cryo is great at keeping them, as far away from me as possible, and and as far away from Garrus, which means more time for Garrus to take sniper shots at them. Garreth's a pretty simple boss, possibly one of the simplest in the game. What only will make him complicated is if you haven't killed that Emir mech. The mech can walk inside of the base and even climb up the staircase. I've had it climb either all the way to the top or almost to the top of the staircase in one playthrough, when I basically just left it out here and didn't provide any support for killing these Eclipse mercs at all. And then right there, you did see that I used my drone and had the Heavy almost kill himself. I think I said this in the previous video, but these ammo clips laying around here, the ones just laying on tables, will regenerate between sections, so don't be afraid to run over and pick those up. And then for this room on the left that I've just entered, this is the last chance that you have that you can walk here and pick up the wall safe money and the med kit. So I suggest that you move in there as soon as this mission is over with, or earlier, if you want to take advantage of free money and whatnot. And I'm making my way over here to get the footlocker, just so, I know I have another chance to get it, but just so I don't forget. And then I'll go talk to Garrus. You'll see I'm kind of skipping ahead in the dialogue here. On my live playthrough, I realized that I only had a limited amount of time before the next section to get through the blood pack, and so I just wanted to skip ahead. But right there, when I selected to have both of my squad mates go with me, that was definitely a mistake. I almost never do this. I think this is the first playthrough that I've ever had them both come with me. I don't think while 2 will help you out for this next section, it doesn't help you out that much, because as far as I can tell, when you leave a squad mate with Garrus, his vital sign counter drops at half the rate. It seems to be about half the rate as if no squad mates are with him. But having one additional squad mate is not going to help you get through these sections twice as fast. So overall, it seems a lot better to just have one squad mate with you. And if I only took one, I would be taking Morden with me, because his cryo and incinerate are just absolutely perfect at fighting the blood pack. You know, I always get ready to run as soon as I open up that door, just because I know I'm going to get shot a bunch and I want to get to this secure cover as soon as possible. I always try to position myself a little bit before I run through the door, because nothing is worse than running and hiding behind a destructible box and then having that box blow up on you and having the rest of the blood pack take you out. Using Miranda's warp to remove the armor and then instantly using cryo just to give myself a damage boost, and I just finish him off with a close range incinerate, but a couple pistol shots probably would have been just as effective. I'd recommend for this section, when you're playing as an engineer, and as an adept as well, but really those two classes, because those two are so weak at being able to move forward, you know, and play aggressively, that I suggest that you first of all stay on the sides and move forward as slow as possible through this section. You're going to see that I do try to get a little bit aggressive right here, and you know, it almost ends up in disaster for me. So for this area, it's usually best to not really make a push until you've dealt with the first 2 Varen and the first Krogan, as well as the initial blood pack troopers. As you see, things are starting to get a little bit intense. They're moving in, and this Varen just moves right in on Morden. And then while that's happening, the Krogan and the blood pack both start rushing me, and I barely luck out right here, just using my combat drone, and I take a few more bullets, but I end up surviving. Probably because I had my passive maxed out at this point, and it does give you a little bit of a health boost, so, you know, sometimes even little things will count in this game. My strategy right there, I knew that the blood pack trooper was weak, so I just decided to, you know, use my pistol on him, but it probably would have been most effective to cast my drone on the Krogan and then cast Morden's cryoblast on the blood pack, Vorcha. So as you can see, now that they've been dealt with, I can move forward a little bit more effectively, just using my moves to strip armor and reduce their health and make sure they don't regenerate, and then moving forward in position. Had I been a little bit faster through this section, I would have been able to close this door right away, but unfortunately there was one more Baron coming around that corner, and I was just a tad too late on removing that armor. And so even though he's frozen, he manages to make it across, and so I finish him off with a melee and then seal the shutter again. As you can see, Garrus's health has dropped pretty low. If I had left someone else, his health probably would have still been looking pretty good at this point. And I don't think that there's too many situations there where I really needed Miranda's warp or needed her submachine gun fire. It would have been a little bit more difficult, but then you would just go through the section a little bit slower. When you have another squad mate with him, there's no need to rush, because after this section is done, Garrus takes very, very little damage. Once again, trying to run the gauntlet right there and get to cover as quickly as possible. I just am making a beeline for it, and I'm not going to stop at any point. I was really hoping that these blood pack would bunch up, and I'd be able to use a combo incineration blast. But I ended up only being able to get one at a time. Still finishing him off. And I actually think that this point right here is maybe not the hardest, but the trickiest part of this whole stage. It's a little bit easier for us engineers because we can send our drone ahead, as well as our allies, but it's still rough. The blood pack just have a great position waiting on that cover right there, and there's not really a good way to knock them out effectively. You can take up a position on that wall, the pillar on the right-hand side, but a lot of times you'll still get hit, and especially if there's a pyro around this corner, he will just decimate you and your squad. So I always recommend, casting the drone first and just sort of judging the layout of the enemies. Anyway, I'm Average Gatsby. Hope you